My name's Ryan. Today we're going to talk about the TufForce centerline and height adjustable AK side mount and the reason why we made it height and centerline adjustable. This here is the side mount. As you can see, it may look similar to a regular side mount, but in fact it is very different. If we rotate this, it's actually both height and centerline adjustable. Over here I have one that's already taken apart. The TufForce side mount comes in 3 pieces. This piece is the top rail. It has 15 slots of rail and is attached to the middle piece with 3 hex head screws, which are removed from this example. This piece allows for 3 millimeters of centerline adjustment. The reason that we have the centerline adjustment is with all the different manufacturers of AKs, and they're all built to slightly different specifications, so not a non-adjustable side plate may not be able to have a true centerline lineup depending on the manufacturer of the AK. Also, the TufForce side mount is height adjustable. Showing these 2 pieces, this is the bottom piece and the middle piece. It has 18 millimeters of height adjustable depending on how high or low the end user would like to have the mount. The reason that this was done is because with certain side plates they're too low and they block the usage of the front sight on some models. But with this, it allows the end user to have the functionality of also having a scope and to be able to use the front sight as well. The side plate, as installed, is very easy to install. Here's an existing side plate on an AK. It has a simple groove, which is tightened by 2 screws on the bottom. And if you also notice, there's a very small stop pin there, which is actually a screw, but that's so you know that you've got the plate on fully, and then you can tighten it. You align the slot like so, slides on, and it stops. That's how you know, that's the stop pin doing its job, and that's how you know you've got it on fully. So right now, just holding with my thumb, that's how the side plate looks. One thing about installing the side plate though, the centerline adjustment, which is with these 2 parts, can be fine-tuned when the side plate is on the AK. However, the height adjustment, which also has these grooves which line up with each other, is best calibrated when it is off of the rifle. I will now demonstrate how to fine-tune both. Start with the bottom part, which is actually the part of the mount that attaches to the side plate. We slide that on. For now I'm just holding it with my hand until I can tighten that later. I find out the height I want, and since there's a certain amount of grooves, I'm counting 2 grooves down from the top. That's just the height that I would like it. So I remember that number as I pull it off. While holding together the large hex head screws, they screw into the back. So I hand tighten them first to get them started. Screws in. Again, I go back to slide them out on the side plate. Now that I've got the side mount slid on the side plate, it's time to fasten the side mount to the side plate. That is done by turning the rifle on its side and tightening the 2 large hex screws. Be sure to make them very tight because this is what helps keep the side mount rigid and strong. And now comes the point that I need to put the top piece, the top rail, on. What I like to do is, I like to take just the center screw and start that one, just so I can get it on there with the Allen wrench. There we go. And you'll want to tighten that so it's tight and stays in position, but not that it's flopping around. So I'm looking down and I find a good center line and I hold it. Put in the next screw. Now tightening the screws once I have them. Again, this is just hand tight at the moment. I do one last final check to make sure that that is indeed where I'd like it to be. And then I do the final tightening. Now what I need to do is, I've got this on, I'd like to mount a scope. So what I have some TufForce 1-inch medium profile rings. And those have a nice thumb nut, so there's no tools to install those. Install the back, and then the front. Again, just hand tighten these at the moment. Then I grab my scope, which today we're using a mid-size scope. That sets nicely in here. Then I grab the top covers for the rings. And I start to screw them together. Now that I've finished tightening those screws, I'll grab the second top for the ring. I'll start screwing that together. Now that I've finished tightening these screws, it's time to take a look through the compact scope. This compact scope has a bullet drop compensation turret, etched glass reticle, red and green illumination. And I can say I did a good job. It looks right. That is how the TufForce height and centerline adjustable side plate is successfully installed on an AK. Happy shooting.